questions. Some of you may have noticed on the Facebook group, I had a poll up there about challenges that you may have in your practice, like lack of time, inconsistent practice, physical discomfort, finding a suitable technique, or lack of motivation, boredom, or restlessness, anything like that at all. So if anybody wants to um, talk about that, or that's one of your challenges, uh, anything at all. So I'm open. I'm apparently a sleepy day today. I started to doze off at one point and kept coming back to the breath. So sleepiness can be a challenge that we have in meditation, and how we can work with any that feeling of drowsiness is we can open our eyes for one. We could take a few deeper breaths to really bring that oxygen into our system. And even if that feels a little much, we can maybe even shake ourselves out, maybe do a walking meditation as well too. So those are some ways we could work with the sleepiness. When I get into a good meditation, I'm always resistant to opening my eyes and coming back to the world. Oh, I can understand that. We just come back to the world and we bring our practice into the world with us. I was struggling with sleepiness since I'm getting up a lot earlier than usual, and I needed to learn to move my meditation space and not just sit up in bed. That is a good idea, is to maybe come into another room. I do many times at night, I do meditate at night in bed. But in the morning, I go out into our living room, or sometimes I come in here if I want to gently play some bowls without waking anybody else up. I'll do that as well, because I have a cushion on the other side. You probably have seen my setup that I have kind of my home sound space here. Um, but yeah, moving to another space. It's because you're walking around a little bit. Okay, so you brought some energy, maybe doing a few stretches, that sort of thing before you start as well. And we talked about that the other day, that yoga is actually for coming into meditation. That's why we do our asanas. Is that so? That's another thing. You could do maybe a few poses and then sit for meditation too. So fidgeting, I have a hard time sitting still sometimes or settling into the practice. Some days it takes me 10 to 15 minutes. Other days I'm okay. Better if I do after yoga. Okay, well, there you go. That's what I was just speaking to, is that helps with that fidget, that restlessness, that fidgeting as well. Doing a walking meditation can also help. And when we do walking meditation, uh, it's a very, dedicated, intentional practice. And when I do walking meditation, like here in the home, we have a hallway, and then it goes into our living room, kitchen, dining room is all one open area, so open floor plan. So I just will walk, and you really only need about where you can do about 10 to 15 feet, maybe paces. And then you turn around, you stop, and maybe I'll work with you on a walking meditation, and you just really feel yourself, your feet into the ground, right? And then you very slowly, moving, lifting, placing, moving, lifting, placing, and you can even do it with your hands, you know, as well. So that's another way we can deal with that restlessness. Of course, deeper breaths that could uh, help us to calm the body a little more as well too. Yes, it's always great to be here in the community. Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll continue having some sort of daily. I don't mind it on the off day. And I usually Wednesday I do this class anyway, this longer class. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I do the longer class. And then the Tuesday night and then Wednesday night here in Madison. But I'm open to continuing the 10-minute ones past August to keep us going in our practice. And practicing with community is really helpful in doing that. Even if it's, we're getting out of bed because we're in Pacific time zone and, coming online and that sort of thing. Still practicing together. And when I was teaching over COVID, it was wonderful because people were coming. There were a lot of people who would come on classes when I worked for the other place until I moved into doing it my own through my own business. And that's what helped us through COVID. And the thing is a lot of people let go of their practice then. Once we were able to get back to life as normal. The thing is we have to keep our practice going. It's not just when things are stressful. We have to do our practice even when things are going okay, because keeping that consistent practice, it accumulates. Okay, so there's a cumulative effect when we continue our practice. So when we get to those situations, like I had yesterday, I had another day. I think I mentioned maybe over the weekend we had some issues with our refrigerator. Well, finally, after the storm, Monday night into Tuesday morning, like early in the morning, there was a lightning strike like 4 houses from here. Our power went out for just a little bit, but the refrigerator never recovered. So we had to buy a new refrigerator yesterday and we had to go through that whole process. And that was, I won't even go into the whole story because we had to get it from a different, I guess, branch of an appliance store, which was an hour away. Whatever, it was something else. And so, being and having that practice, and then because of the timing, I couldn't teach the class live last night, so I had to record it in advance for those who were in the mindful eating class. So all these things come up in our lives. And I've had several days of things like this. So I'm grateful for my meditation practice when these things occur. Because, yeah, you could feel a little stressed, you could feel a little tense about it, but it's not like it would have been years ago, maybe my early days of meditation, right? The more consistently we practice, the more we practice. I have a practice at least morning and night, sometimes during the day, and certainly, I get the effects when I'm teaching as well too. It's not the same. Teaching meditation is not the same as being in meditation because there's a lot that I'm working with in watching everybody. If particularly if it's live, I have to watch the students, and so I watch the screen, seeing what's there, and making sure that you can hear me, that sort of thing, as well too. Plus, being present, being in that grounded space. I can't come on and teach a class if I'm not in that grounded space ahead of time, right? So it's making your life a meditation, a mindful walk in your life. So those are some things that I can share in relation to that. So, friends, keep meditating, okay? And I'll see you soon. Have a good rest of your day.